never know what could happen.
Well, we all love an underdog story, especially our Pokemon players as well. And here we see the flip for the first turn. I think Ali maybe opted to go second, I believe. And I think this is a popular decision that for the Lost Box players. Of course, going second, you're able to hit the Colress first. You're able to, spit innocently first as well. And especially in these Lost Box matches, if you can start taking the first prizes, that's where the momentum really starts in this matchup.
Yeah, attacking tempo is very important. So being able to take the first prize, as you said, can be quite relevant. Or maybe you could even go for a turn one of Bit Seeking, set up your loss zone really nicely so that you can do some nice plays later on. Now, if you go over to the prize cards, and that is...
I heard you like energy. Yeah, for Towards quite an awkward prizes here. 2 dark energy, 1 water. That energy line isn't that thick. He does play the 4 dark energy, 3 water energy as well. So it is quite awkward for Tord, but with the Battle VIP pass in hand, he will be able to do that prize checking as soon as possible.
It might look through and think, hold on, I'm not really missing anything, and then realize, oh, my energy's missing. Yeah, there's not a lot of not a lot of just plain color cards in my deck, just all the other Pokemon and trainers.
Of course, and the 1 lightning energy is not going to be that much of an issue for Tord. He does play 2, and of course only the iron hands that can utilize the lightning energy, unless you're going to be attaching it to anything else with a colorless attack. Yeah, does play Roaring Moon as well, of course, and again Kyogre, the same sort of strategy from Gdansk. Essentially just swapping out that Palkia 1-1 into the Giratina 1-1.
Yeah. Now, he's not cut off from any energy type based on this pricing, because so he has still access to 2 darks and 1 water, but this does mean that he's cut off from a potential Radiant Greninja play, and that could be awkward. Yeah,
that can be quite awkward, especially if you're forced to in these earlier turns. You see here at Battle VIP Pass, though, you can imagine those flower selectings do come up and running thick and fast. Just a little price check here. What have I got available to me? We spoke about this yesterday, especially with the Lost Box resources, usually so thin, especially when you're playing a deck like Towards here. There's so many different attackers, so many different options. It's all about utilizing what's available to you.
And we can see Tord figured it out already, right? He kind of made sure to pick out all the energy and look at them and you can see, yep, there's...
Yeah, that's what I got available to me.
Meant to be a lot more than this.
That's what I got coming for me in this game. Interesting to mention as well, similar sort of 60 to Gdansk, only playing the 4 Colress. That's pretty thin, right, for a support line. But of course, it's coming up well for him. 2 day 2s now with this archetype.
Yeah. Oh, very awkward decision already. As Tord between Marachi and Sableye, actually just lost in the Sableye.
Yeah, just the 1 Sableye as well in this deck as well.
So there will be no Lost Mine from Tord this game.
No Lost Mine at all. Jet Energy and Forest Sealstone. That can be quite awkward. Does have Nest Ball in hand, so can opt to go for an early Star Alchemy if he wishes, but opts for the Jet Energy instead. We spoke about how important the Jet Energy is for these Lost Box decks. Switch outs in a company with a free retreat with the Comfey, with that retreat cost as well. Such a good utility card.
Very much so. Although Todd maybe considering going for the conceal cards first, and no, it decides to attach to the active and manually retreat, going into the Comfey that way. 1 more flower selecting, and it's
again quite awkward.
Was that Cramorant and a Roaring Moon?
I think it's Luminion.
Luminion, okay, and yeah, not wanting to bench that, not wanting to put down easy 2 prizes for Ali. Content with 3 in the Lost Zone. That's pretty decent for turn 1.
Yeah, sees how important the Cramorant is here in this matchup, and here we see Ali just doing the same with his own Battle VIP Pass, of course, going second as well, is able to use a Colress turn 1 for him. He's possibly hoping for a Cramorant of his own.
This deck is blinding me right now, I've got to say. Looking at
a lot of gold. Ali bringing the bling, for sure. And here we see Ali opting for the 2 flower selecting, starting that Sableye. Not always ideal. Does have the 1 retreat cost, however, though, so a switch out will mitigate, having that Sableye stuck in the active. Here we see the price checking of his own here, just checking what are my options, what are my plays here, what's my strategy. You can imagine, this is quite a familiar matchup, right, for a lot of our players. Lost Box has been around for a while, and especially Giratina as well. It's a V-Star that we've seen over and over again, so this is a matchup that our players will be familiar with.
Yeah, very, very much so. And Ali, like Todd, having a very good look just to make sure that what's actually prized. Prizes aren't really too awkward for Ali. There's like 1 Super Rod, a Sableye in there, and 1 of the Giratina V-Stars, but it's a good enough spread that, again, he's not really going to be cut off from being able to access anything. Yeah,
nothing too detrimental. Does play 2 copies of the Super Rod, so does still have 1 available to him in this matchup. And of course, here we see the the Jet Energy being played here from Ali. So switching into the Comfey, you see here flower selecting, flower power being used.
Yeah.
Oh, another Battle VIP pass. I think that's a Giratina V-Star as well. And here we see the second Battle VIP pass being played. He's popping off here.
Yeah. Okay, no, this could be a little bit awkward now because there is one Giratina V-Star in the prizes. So having just lost in one, that means there's only one left in deck, actually.
Yeah, there's only one available to him. And we saw a quite familiar issue in our stream game yesterday with Chriso as well. So this could come out to be detrimental for Ali in the later turns. You know, there's only so many options Ali will have to deal with the Iron Hands, as we spoke about earlier. So if Tord is able to get that out, up and running, and especially if Ali isn't going to be benching the Giratina V here as well, you know, we could see some awkward turns here for Ali.
Yeah, quite possibly. Now, Ali, after the second VIP pass, opting not to grab a Giratina V, so I think Ali is trying to go a single prize route here in the early turns, just thinking, don't want to give up any easy 2 prizes, so I just want to get out with my Cramorant, get my Radiant Greninja, and all my other single prizes. Another Comfey comes into the active, flower selecting for one more. Is that a Colress?
I think that was a Roxanne.
It was a... I
think that's possibly it.
It's a little hard to see. It was a supporter of some kind of just...
Possibly an Iono, I think.
Yes.
There.
So,
switch car into the other Comfey. We see another flower selecting here. I think that's Manaphy.
It's Manaphy and Giratina V, I think.
Oh, quite awkward.
Yeah, not very nice flower selectings here for Ali. So
again, maybe Ali doesn't know that Tord plays the Iron Hands, and again, I really don't. I don't like this either option.
No.
But opts to get rid of the Giratina V.
Well, you have to keep the Manaphy, right?
Yeah, you're kind of forced to, right? When you're staring down a Radiant Greninja as well. But of course, having a full board, you know, you have a full board already, so that Manaphy isn't going to be an option.
Yeah, it's very fortunate for Ali that Tord has 2 water energy prizes. Otherwise, Tord could go for an absolutely devastating turn here.
Yeah, Tord going for the nest ball here, just getting out that Iron Hands nice and ready. And of course, an issue here with not benching the Manaphy, even the Radiant Greninja is also a threat. Of course, not going to be able to Moonlight Shuriken with the 2 prized water energy. But again, for Ali, there's two major threats here on the board.
Yeah, there really is. Now, so if Tord can get 7 in the Lost Zone, we are without doubt seeing a Ampy very much this turn, and Tord is going to take a very early 2 prize lead. Did somebody fly across the table?
I think there was a card that flew over the table. No problem. Our players are well in tune with the game state. That's a little chuckle there as well. We love to see it.
That Battle VIP pass is gone, right? See ya.
See you later. Nest ball for the Iron Hands here, so let's see if Tord can pop off. Here we see a Colress. Big 5 here is hoping to maybe get some Mirage Gates, get that Iron Hands up and running. See a Darkness Energy. Isn't going to be wanting to get rid of that if he wants to keep Roaring Moon as an option.
Oh, that's Giratina V, actually.
Giratina V as well. I think Tord has enough options in his deck to where he can sacrifice the Giratina V, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not something you've seen your opponents put down a board of all single prizes. You don't really. Giratina V is not going to be a focus in this matchup at all.
Yeah, playing a heavy line of Super Odd as well, playing the 3, so can easily just get that into the Lost Zone. Here we see an Ultra Ball hitting the Lost Zone as well. One more card in that Lost Zone, in that Mirage Gates. And now we're going to be active. And here we see another flower selecting. Oh,
easy one.
Yeah, easy option there. Easy option for sure.
And actually drawing out Lightning Energy is pretty nice. So you can, that means that can be your end detachment for turn, and then you're just a few Mirage Gates away from being able to power up this Iron Hands. But I guess the key question is, are there enough energy in the deck to actually accelerate?
Yeah, that's another problem as well.
And then there it is, Tord sees. Finally,
Tord sees. Likes the energy in the prizes for sure. And here we see the Heavy Ball. Hisuian Heavy Ball is such a good card in this deck. You know, it gives you the ability to not only get those basics out, which is going to be so important in Tord's deck with the amount of options he has, but also just have a picky of prize cards, you know. And here we see the first Mirage Gate being played. Does have Pokestop in hand, so can get another one out if he manages to hit it. But here we see the Mirage Gate come down. I really like using the Mirage Gate first, you know, thinning out the deck. You know, maximizing your potential to hit another Mirage Gate from the Pokestop.
Yeah, something that's quite nice about Mirage Gate in this specific deck is because Tord plays so many different kinds of basic energy, you're almost always guaranteed to have like 2 different types, so you actually can, you know, accelerate properly. Of course, Mirage Gate you need to attach 2 different basic energy types, so you can't just attach 2 of the same. So you're more likely to be able to do that when you're playing like 5 different basic energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally agree. Couldn't agree more. And I like the synergy in here as well. You know, I don't have to remind our viewers, you know, with concealed cards as an option to discard, you have a plethora of Super Rod in your deck as well. You have the option there to get those energy back into the deck in order to use the Mirage Gate. Here we see a Pokestop.
1, 2.
Oh, and he hits the Mirage Gate. So important here. Does have the Lightning Energy in hand. I think there was another energy still in deck as well. So can Mirage Gate here for 1, or use the Super Rod to get the Darkness Energy back into deck?
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic Mirage Gate there. And also the other mills were Pokemon as well. So, you know, you don't mind that. You can just Super Rod those back in. Like, it's the trainers that, well, the non-item trainers that you really care about milling.
Yeah, they're still valuable resources. And does have Pulpad in hand as well, just as a just in case. But goes for the Cramorant there, just on the bench. Maybe we'll see a Spit innocently. Maybe he doesn't want to use Ampy very much too soon.
Yeah.
What's awkward here for Ali, though, is what do you bench here? Do you bench the Giratina V, or do you bench the Manaphy? Because Ali won't know obviously Ali won't know Tord's prizes, so won't know that Moonlight Shuriken isn't going to be an option. But I think here, it's what threat do you what's the biggest threat for you? What's your preference here?
I think so. Here's something that's interesting about Tord's list. Tord actually does not play Manaphy.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think if I'm Ali this turn, I'm thinking I want a Moonlight Shuriken.
Yeah, you want to be taking you want to keep the momentum going. Tord's taking the first prize here. Ali wasn't able to use Spit innocently last turn, so wasn't able to keep up with the prize race. So going up 1 prize, you know, doesn't sound bad here for Ali, but goes for the Nest Ball for the Giratina V. Yeah. So sees that Iron Hands, realizes, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, that Ampy very much is going to come thick and fast here.
Yeah, you want to be able to respond on a 2 prizer by knocking it out, right? So yeah, the Giratina V absolutely makes sense to go for here. I think that maybe at this point you kind of recognize that, yeah, I want to keep the Manaphy, but at the same time, I'm not seeing much of a build towards a threat of a Greninja, so I can afford to like hold off on it for now. And so Giratina V is the more important priority.
Yeah, of course. So we see the Jet Energy come down for Ali. Another flower selecting.
Yep.
Other cards here.
Oh, was that a Path to the Peak and a
I think it was a Path to the Peak, yeah. Path to the Peak coming down. Not too much.
Oh, it was a Roxanne, actually, the other card. Okay.
It was a Roxanne, yeah. Yeah, I like keeping the Roxanne here. I think Roxanne is a bigger issue for Tord to deal with than the Path to the Peak. Path to the Peak, of course, only turning off that Radiant Greninja.
Oh, although big problem here for Ali, no more ways to get cards in the Lost Zone. So no Greninja this turn, at least. It's going to be mirroring Tord's play, retreat and Spit innocently, yeah, which is also still fine.
Yeah, yeah, keeps up with the prize race, of course. But now Tord having to deal with that Giratina V as well.
Yeah, and
which is also another issue.
Oh, and there's a big problem here. If Tord goes for the attack with the Iron Hands this turn, and then Ali then responds by deciding to do Moonlight Shuriken, that Iron Hands is just going to KO the Greninja and take another 2 prizes.
Yeah.
So you kind of, depending on what Tord does at this point, you're forced to respond to the Iron Hands straight away. Otherwise, you're going to fall way too far behind.
Yeah, really true. You see the promotion of the Greninja escape rope off the top there for Tord. Here we see another Mirage Gate, Darkness Energy, nice Water Energy as well. I actually don't think last turn Ampy very much was an option. I think the Jet Energy was actually attached.
Oh, and then he drew the one Lightning. Yeah, and the others in the prizes. Okay, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and there was no way to discard the Lightning Energy. But here we see a Moonlight Shuriken, like you said, last turn as well.
Oh, and then this is where...
This is where it gets awkward, because I even like damaging the Giratina V here as well. You know, kind of having a little chip damage on the Giratina V star for later turns. You know, whittling down that HP is always going to be a fantastic option as well. Here we see the Pokestop.
Oh, wow.
Lovely. Just while the doctor ordered 3 items: Mirage Gate, Escape Rope, and I think it was a Super Rod, right?
Yeah. With this, I mean, Tord can take like a double knockout here on 2 Comfies and just stop Ali from even more from being able to get to that crucial 7 in the Lost Zone. This could get very ugly very quickly for Ali.
Certainly could. And here we see a Colress coming down. Battle VOP Pass, no use to him now. Definitely hitting that Lost Zone, and now 9 cards in the Lost Zone for Tord. Here we see another Nest Ball being played. Can opt to go for the Wrong Moon. I really like this, because this is the only way that Tord can deal with that Giratina V-Star effectively. Doesn't have any sort of damage output from any other Pokemon that can deal that massive 280 damage. So I like having the security of benching that Roaring Moon for later turns.
And important to note, the key that was enabled this turn to happen, like Tord took 1 or 2 water engines off the prizes. Like, were it not for that, this turn would not be possible. So Tord getting very fortunate there with the Hisuian heavy ball shuffle, putting the water engines at the bottom so he could take one, and now this play is possible.
I really like using the Moonlight Shuriken here as well, because it puts Tord in a position where he only needs 3 attacks in order to win the game. Taking 2 prizes off this Moonlight Shuriken against 2 Comfeys, then an Ampu very much against another Pokemon, and then, of course, the Roaring Moon, Frenzied Gouging on the Giratina V-Star, and that's the game.
Yeah, it's what's going to be key for Ali this turn, that he did take that Roxanne earlier, and he's going to need to fight that off. If he wants any chance of a comeback, he needs to stop Tord from being able to accumulate more attackers and more resources.
And that's also live next turn, right? So if Ali can manage to knock out the Greninja here, taking consistency off the board while also disrupting the hand back to 2, you know, that could be really detrimental here, and Tord will probably hope for some sort of way out of that. And of course, with, you know, no attackers at the moment being live, you know, on his board, that could be an issue.
So Moonlight Shuriken KOs both the Comfeys. Of course, we were absolutely expecting that. No more ways for Ali to get more into the lost zone right now, which is very tricky. Even made even more so by the fact that, you know, you want to Roxanne this turn, right? But if you're Roxanning, you're not doing a Coruscant experiment. So you have to somehow get 2 Comfeys on the board as well as Roxanne and have enough switch outs to use them both.
Yeah, really awkward for Ali. Here we see a big poker gear here. He's going to be hoping to hit that Colress. Of course, Roxanne being live now, Tord is down to 3. However, like you said, does still need to get some more cards in the lost zone. Does fortunately hit the Colress from the poker gear. Yeah, that'll be very big for Ali.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate, like, because this absolutely is the turn where you want to Roxanne, but you just can't because of the double Comfey knockout. It's yeah, awkward position to be in for sure. And
it's almost like Tord's disrupting Ali now, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to take out your consistency off the board, you know. I know that Tord doesn't play any disruption, doesn't play Iono, doesn't play a Roxanne, but it's still harming that consistency from Ali.
Yeah. And after this, he's really agonizing.
Really awkward, isn't it?
But really, I think you have to, right? You need to hit that 7. You need to make your Mirage Gate live. Speaking of Mirage Gate,
there it is. But you don't want to be, at the same time, you don't really want to be using Giratina V-Star on the Radiant Greninja as well. It seems like a bit of a waste, right? You're only taking 1 prize. You're not taking multiple prizes in one turn. You're not going to be knocking out any of the other threats. Moonlight Shuriken, not really that effective at the moment with no Comfey. Only Sableye is going to be an instant knockout for Tord with Moonlight Shuriken. So, you know, you're not taking a major threat off the board either.
Yeah, there's no... 130 is such an awkward number to hit, right? You either have to, like, you know, over knock it out with a Giratina, or you just fall a little bit short with attacking from both Cramorant and Sableye.
You can set up for a later turn. You can spit innocently and, you know, hope that Tord doesn't have a way of getting loads of switch cards, and then, of course, take a knockout. But here we see the Moonlight Shuriken, another Mirage Gate. This actually really surprised me, because I think that using the Mirage Gates early on, you're whittling down resources in order to keep that Giratina V-Star up and coming. So you only have 3 attackers on board. I mean, yes, you do have the Sableye, but at the moment it's not taking multiple prizes, right? It's only going to be setting up damage for later turns, and Ali will require streaming that consistently.
I mean, there are still 2 Mirage Gates left. This one was like the first one he has used, so there's definitely, like, it shouldn't be too much of an issue in the long run, but it's definitely could be awkward later on. I guess after this Mirage Gate, I imagine one is going to go onto the Radiant Greninja, of course, and then maybe attaching the other one to the active, because I don't think I saw a switching card in the hand. You
do get instant satisfaction. You do get 2 prize cards, of course. That's not a problem, but you're taking your own consistency off the board. I think that's why I'm so surprised here. I think the security option here was to just go for a simple spit innocently.
It's, but if you do a spit innocently, you're so far behind again, right?
Because, I know, it's awkward.
Tord just comes in, because no matter what happens, Tord is going to be able to come in with Iron Hands and be able to take 2 prizes.
Yeah.
If you attack with the Greninja, at least Tord takes 2 prizes, but you also take 2 prizes.
Yeah, it's awkward, but it keeps Tord in a position where he's still taking multiple prizes regardless. Yeah, it's an awkward one. Here we see an escape rope come down.
So, I mean...
It's going to be a Comfey, I would imagine. Yeah, Comfey coming out here. realizing that, okay, my 2 bench Comfey are going to be knocked out perhaps, but at least I get a flower selecting next turn.
And I guess I was wrong. There was a switching card in hand. So yeah, because of that, Ali able to use the Mirage Gate, the spare energy from it, put it on the Giratina, so that will be ready for a Star Requiem potentially next turn, as long as he can find a grass energy and a way to get 3 more in the Lost Zone.
Yeah, and here's another awkward decision. If Ali decides to nest ball here for another Comfey, that Moonlight Shuriken again is taking another 2 prizes.
Yeah, that's...
Yes.
But the Manphy's still in hand, right? So you can just bench it.
You can bench it, yeah, that is the option, yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine that Ali will just do that. You wouldn't bench the Comfey if you didn't also put down the mitigation to stop it at a 2-prize turn.
You'd have to bench the Manaphy here.
Yeah.
So it's looking like towards perhaps going for a Ampy very much next turn, I'd imagine is the option.
Yeah.
Really steering down that Roxanne. Ali was hoping to use it this turn, but that just wasn't the option. And here we see the Moonlight Shuriken taking 2 prizes here for Ali, keeping him in the race. Both now down to 3 prize cards.
Yeah, and it makes sense to go for the 2 bench ones, right? You don't want to give Tord the option of what Pokemon to have active. Make him stick with the Comfeys in case he's changed his mind on which one is actually best to put active.
You can imagine as well that Tord will have a switch out, but at least it keeps him requiring more, right?
Granted, Tord has got the whole world in his hands.
of course. As we mentioned, Ali was perhaps hoping to use the Roxanne this turn, but Tord with a bit of an accordion hand. Plethora of options for him.
I think Tord's deck is, because the Mirage Gate's being played now and Tord is looking through his deck for the energy, I think Tord's deck is smaller than his hand at this point.
Yeah, I think so. But I think now only 1 Mirage Gate is an option, right? I think 3 have been used.
Yeah, there's one. Actually, you see 2 in the discard pile and 1 there. So yeah, there's only 1 Mirage Gate left.
So only 1 Mirage Gate left. So an Ampy very much. Giratina V-Star into the Iron Hands, but Tord is going to be only down to 1 prize card. So this is going to be a real interesting couple of turns. And here we see a big Colress continuing to thin down the deck.
Yeah, and this is very important because I'm sure Tord knows that a Roxanne is coming, right? So the more useless cards you thin out, very easy decision there with the Giratina V-Star and the Battle VIP pass. So now if you do get Roxanne, your chances of drawing into that last Mirage Gate get higher and higher.
Yeah, having the Cramorant there as well is another attacking option to have on board. Here we see switch card Colress, I think it was. No, it couldn't have been Colress. I think he's used 3 or... Oh, no, it was a Colress. It was the last... It's the last Colress then.
Yeah.
For Tord.
Switch card going to the Lost Zone. Yeah, we do see that last Mirage Gate in hand ready to go. So with only 3 cards in deck now, there's at least a little bit of a chance for Tord to find it if he gets Roxanne. I'm sure he'll have that in mind. Deck thinning is so important in the late stages of the game.
Yeah, especially with the Lost Box. You don't want to be drawing into useless cards, especially when you're going to be Roxanne next turn. And here we see an Ampy very much.
Well, not quite yet. Benching the Cramorant, another card thinned out from the pan/slash deck.
Yeah.
Maybe you think about benching 1 more?
At least here you have quite a nice escape rope play for next turn. You're taking out the Greninja, right, for that, so that's 130. So if Tord's able to find escape rope next turn, that's also an option. And here we see the 4th Mirage Gate.
Set up with the checkmate.
Yeah, this is a checkmate now for Tord, right? So even if Ali was able to bring out the Giratina V-Star, that Roaring Moon, instant frenzied gouging for 2 more prizes.
Yeah, and with that, there's nothing Ali can do. Like, Ali can Roxanne he wants. Tord has the game set up on board already. That Super Rod plus Mirage Gate being crucial. Yeah.
And
wow,
you'd imagine here Ali seeing the writing on the wall.
So
this one.
Okay, so Ali's line now changes slightly. What he has to do is get the KO on the Roaring Moon of a Gusting card, like a counter catcher, and Roxanne, and hope that Tord doesn't find a Gust of his own. That's the move.
You're forced to take out the Roaring Moon, but just an escape rope. The Pokestop is still in play. You know, Ali had lost zoned the path to the peak for the Roxanne as well, so it's an awkward line of play here for Ali. Only the grass energy with the Mirage Gate, that's also quite awkward.
It is a bit, but as long as he has an energy in hand, that's okay. Not going to be an option to go for Start Requiem this turn, because I think there's no easy way for Ali to get the extra 3 in the Lost Zone.
Yeah, that's right.
But still,
it's going to be forced to use to use Roxanne here.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah,
I think you have to put Tord down to 2.
It's Roxanne plus Countercatcher, knock out the Roaring Moon, and Prey. That's the line.
And yeah, you'd have to play the Path to the Peak as well. But this is really interesting line to play, because if you put the Path to the Peak down, you'll have to be drawing into that Countercatcher naturally, right?
I mean, yeah, but there's also no like ability draw power on Ali's board anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. There's no Greater Greninja.
No. As in, like, using the Pokestop to get the Countercatcher.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I guess you could do, but at the same time, playing a path is too important, so I think you just have to hope that the 6 on the Roxanne will get you there. You don't want to risk Roxanne and not playing the path.
And also in this way, you will have to hit the path as well from the Roxanne, right?
Yeah, because, sure, path only stops Greninja, but Greninja is 2 extra draws that Tord could use to find the cards to close out the game. So it's every single card option you remove from Tord counts. So
the path to pick definitely had to come down.
So 6 cards there. Does Ali find it? One more card?
One more card. Oh, there's a Countercatcher! Countercatcher. Ali is able to take the knockout here on the Roaring Moon. Lost Impact will take this out. And now it's all on Tords to find a way to get that Giratina V-Star out of the active.
Unbelievable find off the last card of the Roxanne, finding the Countercatcher to KO the Roaring Moon. So now it's up to Tord. Does he have the ways to win? It's a boss!
Oh, and it's a boss!
His orders!
Does have the boss in hand for the Gust, and Tord going 1-0 here in our round 12. What a game, right down to the wire. Roxanne, it's a lie, Freya, it's a lie. Tord able to get the boss off the Roxanne to 2. That's well, what a game. What a game, yeah. Speechless.
Unbelievable. What a fantastic nail bite to end to that one. Wow. So Tord able to find off of the Roxanne to 2 the boss's orders to take the game after Ali found off the 6th card of the Roxanne the Countercatcher to make the play that could keep him in. This is why we love to look at cast Pokemon.
I mean, the Roxanne to 2 is so exciting. You know, it was all about whether Tord had the options available to him to get that Giratina V-Star out of the active. Ali did what he could, right?
He did,
and that was the game plan. That was the game plan all along. The disruption, the path, did exactly what he could for this matchup, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. And you got to play 0 outs, right? Just because it didn't work for Ali doesn't mean that anything that he did was wrong. He absolutely took the correct line. Tord just proved that Roxanne was a lie again.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show the power of Tord's deck here. You know, there's so many options that were available to him. Use the Greninja, use the Iron Hands, use the Roaring Moon. There were so many options available to him. Utilized them perfectly. Mirage gated at the right time to set up these plays for the later turns. Used all of those Mirage gates pretty early on. You know, well, I say early on, in the same turn to try and set up that kind of board state to say checkmate.
Yeah, absolutely. The players are setting up now, in any case, ready for game 2. After we've got to calm things down a little bit just to come down from that excitement at the end of game 1. Ali's hand didn't look amazing. Like, the choices of starters were like a Cramorant and a Sableye, which really you don't want to start with either of those in an ideal world. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate there, but does have a Mulligan draw to work with, and does have a Chorus Experiment and an S-Ball, so maybe able to find something to work with.
Yeah, and has the energy in hand for the retreat cost next turn as well. Tord here just shuffling up, did have a Mulligan last turn. Just drawing his first 7 here as well. Tord's going to be looking for a very similar game plan to last. Has the perfect starter in the Comfey as well.
Yeah, you'd love to see it now. Let's take a quick look at both these players' prize cards, and only 2 energy prize for Tord this time, so going to be feeling a little bit happier about that, I'm sure.
pretty fortunate for both players to not have anything too detrimental. Path to the Peak is in the prizes for Ali, so you know, could harm the kind of game plan that he was going for last game as well. Here we see the first flower selecting escape rope, hitting that lost zone. Here we see an Ultra Ball as well, getting rid of 2 energy. These are resources that Tord is able to get back with the Super Rod as well. So here, just doing a little prize check as well. A nice deck search turn 1 is always fantastic, especially with the lost zone as well.
Yeah, two Psych Energies in discard pile already, which actually I think they're the only 2 that Tord plays. It's so having a quick look at the list, yeah, I think it is. So a little bit awkward there, but of course you can always get them back with Super Rod, so it's really not the end of the world. Tord doing another energy check as well, thinking don't really want to end up pricing all my energy again, but this time the deck energy-wise at least being a lot kinder.
Yeah, Ali does play 3 Path to the Peak, quite a heavy line for Giratina, so 1 hitting the prizes isn't going to be too bad for him. See another Comfey, sorry, coming down for Tord. Getting rid of those 2 psychics again. The synergy of this deck, right? You know, you've got these ways of discarding energy, but it's not a problem.
No.
You've got the super rod, you've got the security of that, and especially it kind of plays in turn, right, with the Mirage Gate. If you're able to super rod them back in, you know, it's always going to be live for you. And here we see another Flower Select. Quite awkward, Pokestop and Colress is going to opt for the Colress. So crucial for Tord. You know, being only, it's a 5 supporter line. So, you know, it's the 4 Colress, it's the 1 boss's orders as well. So, you know, utilize it, understanding the importance of each of these supporters. And here we see a double nest ball from Ali.
Yeah, after a great start, they're able to get out a Radiant Greninja and then probably get out Comfy as well. Start doing some sort of slash selecting, set up Losso nicely. And Ali does have the turn on Colress's experiment ready to go in hand as well, which is going to be a boon for him.
He'd be hoping for a turn 1 spit instantly as well. Getting rid of a Comfey on the board, especially with that energy attached, is going to be a nice retreat for Tord next turn. So getting rid of that will only help him further in the prize race, but also give a little bit of an issue to Tord in terms of consistency.
Also taking a quick look through with the nest balls, just to have a look at prizes again, realizing that, yeah, nothing too awkward to work with here. There's a couple of energies prized, so 1 grass and 1 water, so you might have to bear that in mind a little bit, but on the whole, shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, 1 Sableye as well. You know, it could... There are a lot of options, of course, to get Sableye out. The 1 Sableye that he does have available to him, but could be an issue if he does have to draw into it naturally. In the later turns, perhaps Giratina V already on the bench here. I would have thought that Ali would have liked to get that down early enough last game, but it's slapped down on the board pretty early on here. And here we see perhaps a... Yep, so here we see the concealed cards, drawing 2 here, Colress and a Jet Energy. And they're going to help him here. It's going to be hoping to somehow hit another Comfey perhaps. So we see...
I think that's between 2 energy. No, is it Roxanne?
No, it's Roxanne Psychic. You'd imagine he'd have to keep the Roxanne, right, if he wants to continue on that same game plan. There's only Roxanne that Ali does play, so you see another Colress. Does have Iono as well as an option for disruption as well, but just seeing the value in the Roxanne.
Yeah, but, I mean, Roxanne almost won in that game 1, right? So yeah, you definitely want to keep that around.
Definitely want to keep it around for sure. You see a Colress as well, Giratina V-Star. Perhaps the choice here, but here we see Nest Ball and a Jet Energy, 2 quite valuable resources, I would say, in Lost Box, but again, seeing the importance of the other Comfey. Of course, we do know he does have to hit another card into the Lost Zone in order to use the Spit instantly. Does have a switch card, and also the retreat still available to him, so it does retreat into the other Comfey, and here we see another Flower Selecting. Yeah. Ooh, 2 very important cards, but I think with a full bench already, may want to get rid of the Battle VIP pass unless you want us to get maybe a Manaphy down early on. Yeah,
it's a tough one because obviously Manaphy was really did a number on you, or not put down the Manaphy meant that Radiant Greninja really did a number on you last game, and yeah, given that you play 2 counter catcher, maybe just valuing the guaranteed pickup of that Manaphy or even a second Giratina, that could be another option to go for as well. Yeah, it does play the 2 counter catcher, so this is fine, but again, it's minimizing the potential or the options to you later in the later turns. Yeah, and maybe asking if he can swap over. Yeah, he's again going for the Battle V pass for the Giratina V. Yeah, you can tell he's agonizing over it. Yeah, I know he was flirting with the option of the Manaphy, right? Maybe at this point thinking Tord start was a little bit slower. You know, there's only really a couple of Comfey out, and oh wait, Ali did not have the switch out. Yeah, didn't have the switch out. Yeah. So here we see another Colress coming down. Tord playing pretty fast here, wanting to rip through this deck. Battle VIP pass, you imagine, it's going to be hitting the Lost Zone. Sableye also, perhaps not the game plan for this turn. Can hit the Lost Zone. It is his only Sableye, so it's not going to be an option for him. Lost Mine now. I mean, he didn't really need it last game, right? Yeah, it's not the game plan I would have imagined. Here we see a Flower Selecting, Super Rod hitting the Lost Zone. Has to keep that Iron Hands, especially if you're going to get rid of that Sableye. If you want to be making, you know, two prize card turns, going to be having to keep either one of those. And here we see a Mirage Gate coming into the hand, not seeing the value in the Forest Seal Stone. No, there's not really any Pokemon V you want to bench this game, right? No. You don't want to bench Lumineon, you don't want to bench Giratina, so yeah, why bother with the Seal Stone? You'd imagine he's trying to hit a Colress here, right? Yeah. Oh, no, he started with turn with Chorus.
No, he started with Colorus, yeah.
Yeah, but another one would be nice.
Another one for next turn. Because I think you have to start attacking soon, right? So I think, I think what's awkward here is that, for one, Ampy very much is now active, and with 3 Mirage Gate in hand, this is going to be an option for Tord. And here we see a Mirage Gate being slapped down here.
Yeah, there should be, there's more lightning in the deck, so
yeah. It is live here for Tord. You see, we see a Lightning Energy and a Darkness being slapped down onto the Iron Hands.
And another Mirage Gate going down, and there is a switching card in hand, right?
Yeah, there's a Jet Energy in hand as well. So can opt to maybe attach to another Comfey as well as the Iron Hands, and then attach the Jet Energy to the Iron Hands itself, get it in the active, and of course setting up a nice little pivot for the previous, for the following turns. Oh. Yeah, I really like this play. Jet Energy onto the Iron Hands now. We'll put it straight into the active, and you can imagine an Ampy very much coming up soon.
And that's going to be a very, very good for Tord, taking an early 2-prize lead already, and especially in a situation where Ali doesn't really have, right now at least, a way to get the Giratina V-Star going. There is a Chorus experiment, and there is an energy in hand, so you can maybe dig for it, but I don't think I see a Giratina V-Star.
4 is a really awkward number as well, because Colress doesn't get you to the 7, so you're still forced to be getting into using a flower selecting, but now Ali's needing a Giratina V-Star, Mirage Gates, and also a switch out. So it's pretty awkward here for Ali, but again, I can't tell you how much he has to be knocking out this Ampy very much. It's such a big thret for him.
Yeah, you have to deal with this right now. If you don't deal with this, Tord takes another 2 prizes next turn, and then suddenly you are way, way far behind. So it needs to be Giratina V-Star or bust. 5 cards off the top from the Chorus experiment. Does he find a way to get the Giratina V-Star?
Does he find a way? 2 energy, pretty awkward. And a Psychic, and a Psychic as well. I think there's 4 energy here. 3 energy, sorry.
Yeah, it's 3, and then I can't quite see what that last card is.
Perhaps a Colress?
The glare too much. Oh, there is the Giratina V-Star in hand already.
And there was there was a Giratina V-Star in hand already. Okay. But is forced now to find switch out and Mirage Gates, but there's nothing there for Ali, unfortunately.
No, there's a path. There's some other gold card, I guess. Maybe we can find out if concealed cards.
Have the concealed cards. Manaphy and a Path of the Pig. Oh, these are really awkward here. This is really awkward for Ali.
So I think there is a Jet Energy in hand. So what you can do is just Mirage Gate and then Jet to the active. But you need to, if you're going to do this, then there has to be enough energy in the deck. So there's 1 grass in the discard pile. There's 1 in the prizes. Is there going to be enough? Yeah, I think you have to Super Rod first. Yeah,
you have to Super Rod first. Get those energy back into the deck. Again, I'm talking about the awkwardness. It's it's how you play this out, right? You're using resources. You have to get rid of the Iron Hands. You couldn't escape rope for a simple spit innocently. You're being forced to use the Giratina V-Star, and now it's going to be whether Tord can react with a big knockout with the Roaring Moon again.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an okay turn from Ali. It is. You've done what you needed to do, right? You needed to answer the Iron Hands, and you have the means to do that. But it's now a matter of what comes next. There is a bench slot free, so maybe now Ali goes for this Manaphy, fearing that maybe Tord could respond with a Radiant Greninja, and yet we do see the Manaphy go down now. And I guess after that, it is just going to be Lost Impact.
Yeah, I do like the Manaphy coming down, mitigating the risk of the Radiant Greninja. I think other than knocking out the Giratina V-Star, it was the only way that Tord could take multiple prizes this turn. So unless Tord can manage to conjure up a Roaring Moon EX, Tord may only be taking 1 prize here if he's lucky enough. But here we see Colress, another Battle VIP pass.
Yeah, that'll be an easy choice.
The Lost Zone, yeah.
And then maybe thinking about a Dark Energy. That might make it a little bit awkward because then you have 2 in the discard pile already. I guess if you have a Super Rod, it's fine. But otherwise, might be a little bit. Oh, there's a Super Rod from.
Yeah, there's a Super Rod. Yeah, there's a Super Rod in hand. There is Mirage Gate as well, but needs to be hitting the Roaring Moon somehow.
Yeah, and he's in front of his Pokestop or Giratina
V-Star with a 1/1 Giratina hitting the discard pile. Not a bad, not too bad for Tord.
It's 3 cards out the way. I guess.
didn't need it last game, so not a problem. Oh, 2 really awkward cards to get into the flower selecting, Boss's Orders and the Radiant Greninja.
But you have to go with Greninja, right?
You have to have the consistency, right? If you're taking multiple prizes, you still have to hit the Roaring Moon.
Yeah, and that was a VIP and a
Mirage Gate. So no options. Can of course, spit innocently this turn, but you want to be taking those multiple prizes.
Yeah, but with that, I don't think a Roaring Moon is going to happen this turn.
No. And now, if passing over to Ali without taking prizes here, it's giving Ali the option to just use Moonlight Shuriken, right, for multiple prizes.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit awkward. There's one water energy in the lost zone, so Ali has to make sure that he can it is one in hand. So I guess he could gate one and then attach the other.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely possible.
Yeah, hit Luminion from the flower selecting there. Another Bell VIP pass hitting the lost zone, which is always good to see. Towards just conjuring up any sort of idea here.
Yeah,
what he can do.
There's no amazing line, I think it's safe to say.
Palpad getting 2 Colress back into the deck.
It's the card you always want to see, right? Just Chorus again and again.
Doesn't shuffle up. You can imagine a Luminous Sign maybe coming out here.
Okay, interesting going for that now.
Deck. 3 Colress still in the deck.
Yeah.
Unfortunate not to be hitting any in the hands via flower selecting or concealed cards. Forced to use the Luminous Sign, sorry. And this is, again, another weird turn of events where Tord's got a 2 prizer on the bench, and that could be quite tasty for Ali if he's able to find any sort of gusting option.
Here's an interesting card, Energy Recycler. Not one that one that's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit in these Lost Zone toolbox decks since Super Rod came out. Does let you get back 5 basic energy. So
I think the reason for this is the Kyogre.
Yes,
right? So the Kyogre having that option, it's invaluable, right? Getting those 5 energy back into the deck. The Aqua Storm, it just makes it that much better, of course.
So Tord just Mirage Gated onto the minion. I think we're going to see an Aqua return this turn.
I think that's the safe play, right? Because you want to be getting that 2 prize off the field as soon as possible. But I think what's awkward here is that a Mirage Gate has been used, and it's not going to be used that effectively. Of course, you're doing that 120 poke, but... sorry, the 120 poke, but you're not taking prizes here.
No, and also 160 is like... It's not a nice 2-shot number, right? Like, it's 160. What do you have in your deck that does 160? Not really much.
You do have Arm Press, so Arm Press is an option with the Iron Hands, but still quite an issue for Tord to get out. You know, he still needs a lot of pieces to the puzzle in order to use that. You use 1 Mirage Gate on the Luminion again, not that great.
Yeah, so... Okay, very important decisions here for Ali. Opted to go for the Chorus Experiment, did find the other water energy, so now it's going to be very important for Ali to discard that with Conceal card so he can Super Rod it back in so he can make most use of this Mirage Gate.
And I think the main problem here for Tord as well is that 3 Mirage Gates have been used. So now, with that Mirage Gate in hand, he must be thinking, right, what's the best way I can utilize this?
Hold on, is Ali thinking of foregoing the water energy?
Going for the water energy, yeah.
So, but now he can't Moonlight Shuriken anymore. There's 2 waters in the Lost Zone, he only plays 3.
So with 3, you only need to use 2, right?
Yeah, but there's 2 in the Lost Zone.
Oh, there's 2 in the Lost Zone. Yeah. There's 2 in the Lost Zone, so now Moonlight Shuriken not an option. So Ali unable to take multiple prizes this turn.
I guess maybe Ali thinking that that's not the right move to go for. Maybe there's something we're missing here. But like it would seem to me like Moonlight Shuriken would be the best option here.
Yeah, for sure. I think here the map, the ideal prize map for Ali is to take 2-2-2, right?
But no.
I'm not seeing the value in it. Manual attachment to the Giratina, which is also awkward because, of course, with only 9 in the Lost Zone, Star Requiem can't be used either.
No.
And he hit in Pokestop, Colress, Boss, Mirage Gate.
Oh.
Again, not fantastic.
Support is the worst thing, just about the worst thing to discard from your Mirage Gates. Can't get those back in, from the Pokestops, rather.
Yeah, it doesn't play Palpad either, so no way to recover that Boss's Orders or the Colress either.
No, that's not going to work.
9 in the Lost Zone.
Okay,
there was 10.
Okay.
No, 11, sorry.
Yeah, our counter wasn't updated. There we go. So.
That's absolutely fine. Here we see Confei being promoted, just drawing the back into another energy recycler. And what's the line here for Tord now?
Okay, I'm trying to think back a little bit to Ali. Maybe Ali didn't have a way to get the Giratina out the active. Maybe that's why the Moonlight Shuriken wasn't viable.
I still like that play, though. I was really surprised because
No, but if you can't retreat yeah, because you only have Switch Card, right? So if you don't have a way to retreat the Giratina, then you can't do the Moonlight Shuriken. Maybe you just didn't have enough energy resources to both attach to the Giratina to retreat and do the Moonlit Shuriken.
Maybe keeping the Mirage Gates as an option as well for the Giratinas rather than the Radiant Greninja. But again, having the option to take multiple prizes in one turn. Yeah, quite interesting decisions here being made. And you see a Spit Innocently from Tord. Again, keeping that Mirage Gate for a later option. Of course, only having one now, it's all about how do I use this in the best fashion. What's my method here?
I mean, what could be Reno to Tord if he hadn't lost on his Sableye is to do a Lost Mine next turn, but of course that option no longer available to him because of the Sableye going away.
And this is when we talk about the Lost Box mirrors, you know, or the Lost Box archetype mirrors, I should say. I know this isn't strictly a mirror match with the Giratina V-Star and this kind of box-style deck, but this is where these fine lines are placed. It's all about resource management, right? Exactly what we think about. Those two water energies hitting the Lost Zone means now, you know, Ali has a couple of awkward turns. Now Tord using 3 Mirage Gates is also, you know, going to hinder his game plan just a little bit more as well. And here we see a lost impact on Cramorant as well. Again, not the fashion you maybe want to be using it. Only one prize card on that kind of small Pokemon, but Roaring Moon in the hand as well now for Tord.
I guess the one thing that is the same grace for Ali is that, so we did see that Boss's Order hit the Lost Zone. I do believe that the Tord only plays 1, so...
Yeah, Tord only plays 1.
So there's an option for Tord to like power up Roaring Moon and gust the other Giratina V-Star to win the game in that regard. So, you know, Tord is going to knock out this Giratina here, and it's going to go down to like, you know, 2 prizes each. But then Ali could, in theory, just knock out 2 more single prizes and win the game that way.
The Boss's Orders hit the Lost Zone for Tord.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I'm in agreement.
yeah, in full agreement. That's fine.
Yeah, so
see another chorus from Tord, drawing 5 here, big 5 cards.
Ooh, a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy. And this is exactly the kind of position that we saw Tord in last. You know, he's running through the deck, and now resources are starting to run out slowly.
Yeah.
You know, options, you know, they're becoming less and less as the game goes on. Of course, when everything was live, you have, you know, your ideal setup. You have 7 or 10 in the Lost Zone. You know, everything's hunky-dory. But, you know, as the game goes on, you're forced to be using these resources, and sometimes it just doesn't go, you know, quite right.
Is Tord maybe thinking of finishing off the game by perhaps doing, I don't know, you get back the Iron Hands doing Escape Rope, or oh, maybe you get your Giratina line back. Yeah. Okay, this could also work.
You can get the Giratina line back out, but with only 1 Mirage Gate, I think it would be a Spit Innocently here on the Giratina V-Star, taking a knockout. You know, keeping the board in a position where Ali can't take multiple prizes in 1 turn. We know the Moonlight Shuriken, again, not an option for Ali, so forcing the 1 prize board state.
Maybe finish off an Iron Hands.
But in order to use the Giratina, the Iron Hands.
The Flower Selecting.
And that's very awkward.
Literally the 2 cards you just got back. And then again,
fantastic.
Now Iron Hands isn't an option either. Wow, yeah, that's very, very strange game, this one.
But I think with all these plays running through my mind right now, so manual retreat into the Cramorant, Spit Innocently for knockouts, and does still have the Roaring Moon in hand with the Mirage Gate.
Yeah.
So I think that's the line of play here for Tord, but I wouldn't have thought that this would have been the position we're in with the amount of resources that have been used, but just holding on, I guess. And the Giratina V hitting the bench.
Yeah, there was another Super Rod just there.
Yeah, there was another Super Rod. So, again, this is... Okay, so going for the Giratina V route will mean that Ali will be able to take game next turn, but will need quite a lot.
Yeah, but Tord has to do this because he needs an option to KO the other Giratina V-Star. So, like, having to go for it right now. And there is a switch card. Spit Innocently will finally finish off that Giratina V-Star. 3-hit KO coming in.
And in the same token now, Ali with Boss's Orders in the discard pile. Gust not an option, so...
Yeah, of course, they're even on prizes, so no counter catcher. So actually, Tord's pretty safe here.
Yeah, Tord's pretty safe. You'd imagine a Spit Innocently coming out here, having the security of the fact that Tord has no Gust himself. Ali still able to take a prize here to keep up with the race, but just checking the discard pile, how many energy are still in there? 2 psychic energy, quite a few energy in the Lost Zone as well to boot.
That Pokestop discarding the sword is really, really hurting right now.
Very, very awkward. Very, very
I mean,
awkward
if you
for
can dig for that, you know, maybe you can power up a Giratina, boss's orders a Giratina V, and then you can actually tie up this series. But as it stands right now,
Yeah. Oh, and we just have just a short issue that the just a short issue that the judges brought up, which we're looking to just satisfy that just quickly here, keeping a live of the game state here from our judges, but we'll wrap that right up for you. But looking at the game state now, so Ali had no option to gust, has the Cramorant on the bench, still able to take that one prize. But for Tord, in the same token, doesn't have Gust himself.
no.
Didn't also have another Cramorant as well, so unable to take one prize. They're both in this kind of one-upsmanship situation.
Yeah, a little bit. And it's going to be, like, we're very close to time as well. That's an important
Yes,
note.
that's another important
There's only 3 minutes left, so we're at that stage now where every single, mini-fort counts.
Yeah. And this is exactly what we said with the Lost Box variants. When they're facing off with each other, it's all about who can utilize the resources more efficiently. Am I using my Mirage Gates correctly? My switch outs, how many do I have left? What are my disruption options? It's all those little nuances that make this matchup what it is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and it's all about keeping up to date with what options are available to me. We see this now with the gusting options, but also with Tord, with the Mirage Gates, using 3 earlier in the game, in order to use the Ampy very much, and now with only 1 available to him. It's all about keeping that as closely in your hand as possible. You're really cherishing that resource as the game goes on. But I wouldn't have known where that would have gone. No, really.
No, neither would I. There's some very, very strange turns over the course of that game.
Yes.
So I think it went in a direction we weren't really expecting, it's safe to say, for either player for that matter. And these final few turns, I mean, the deck check's been performed, and Tord has received a game loss for playing an Ultra Ball instead of a Nest Ball. So there was a minor deckless error there, playing an Ultra Ball instead of a Nest Ball. So now so there'll be a game loss there. We're going back into the game at 1-1, and now things will proceed.
Yeah, and we saw the game plans being utilized back in the 2 games that we saw. Of course, the game was cut a bit short in our last one, but I think both of these players now familiar with the game plans of each other, and now they'll be fully in tune with what each other are trying to do.
Yeah, although there is, of course, one small thing here, which is there isn't a lot of time left on the clock. So unless one of these players can win very quickly on the first few turns, we are probably going to see this match end in a tie.
Yeah, we're just going to get confirmation as well as whether that time will be extended with that judge call, but we'll get that confirmation shortly. But here we see both of our players just shuffling up for game 3 here now. And, going into this now, so of course, Ali would have taken that win, so he'll be deciding whether to go first or second here. This is always a conversation that's been coming up now with Lost Box, right? Do you want the ability to use a supporter turn 1, or do you want to give, your option of evolving first to your opponent?
Yeah, it is a bit of a tricky one. Yeah, and also we got an update. The time is correct. Of course, when the judge call happened, I think the timer was paused. And
okay.
Well, is it? Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So both players realizing they're unable to take a win, maybe in 2 turns. Both players just showing they have
more than one Pokemon, basically. Yeah.
Showing the different options they have to get more Pokemon out, towards showing the Battle VIP pass to get 2 more Pokemon out. Unfortunate end.
Yeah.
Of course, no winner, but both players still live in this tournament.
Very much so.
We speak about day 2. Each player, after each game, they're thinking, oh, I've taken a loss, now what do I need? What do I need now to make top 16? What do I need now to make top 8, and top 64 as well? And then championship points come into the play as well. I need 40 points for my, for my invite as well. These are the sort of decisions and these sort of problems